Let me see if you guys are here. Let me at you guys. XYZ, Circo. If you're here in the chat, just send a message. Let me know that you're here. Here, let's see. What's a good scene to go toward? This is cool. Could do that too. Don't worry, they don't hear you anyways. Muted you. And let's see if any of them are here. I can't whisper them on OBS. Good job, Crystal, by the way. If they're not here, I'll just stop this, but is there a way I could whisper them maybe on the app? I could do that too, right? Start a whisper. Circo. Because they asked some good questions. All right, and then I will send another whisper to the other folk. X, Y, Z, Lucifer. What a name, right? Questions again. See if that works. I'll give it just a couple minutes. See if I could get either one of them. Do. I like my simple stream setup. It's pretty nice. Okay, I got one viewer, so it might be one of them. One viewer. Let's see who's in the chat. Hey, Circo, I see you're here. You wanted to say hi or whatever? I'll answer your previous question if you want. Oh, there's XYZ too. Okay. So I guess you guys are back? Doesn't show you're in the chat, XYZ, but yet you're here. So that's cool. Did you study philosophy? What's the answer to that? I think we can all study philosophy. I mean, if you mean by like a regular school, not necessarily, but I did take a lot of different history classes, some college level stuff. But generally speaking, I mean, you can learn a lot with the internet. I mean, you got plenty of resources if you want to get like deep into history and philosophy. But you can learn philosophy by observing the world around you, at least what I believe for the most part. If you look at a lot of poets, they tend to have that in common. I tend to do some poetry here and there, so I tend to do a lot of observations and kind of doing my own sort of scientific experiments with the knowledge at hand. So you kind of you take the previous knowledge, right, and you transform that into how do you increase your understanding of that. So is there a certain school of philosophy you describe to? So yeah, by school you could either mean like schools of thought or actual schools. So yeah, so I would say I'm definitely involved with the natural law community. You can tell from like the links on the screen. One Great Work Network is like a natural law community. Um, so I'm definitely well rooted in that philosophy. I've also studied a lot of like Aristotle, Plato, and more of the old time like usual philosophy type of people. Um, but yeah, I don't know if you want to put that under like one ism or one way of thinking. Like I don't typically do that because I'd like to explore all different ways of thought. But typically, yes, it's like about nature, right? So whatever's like all around this eternal universal, that's what I'm seeking because I think that is the most powerful. That's something we can all relate to, something we can test within our own lives. So it's not like some philosophy where it really requires any belief, where it's like I have to believe in it in order for it to somewhat be true. I want to have actual evidence in some way that I could observe it within my own life. You see what I mean by that? And of course, you can share yourself too. If you study certain types of philosophy, I'd love to know that. That'd be pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. Let me put on some music. Mind of Creation always sends me all these music. I need to get on his level with the music here because he's got some good music that he listens to. It's like chill stuff. Probably just go through my history and then I'll just put in some music in the background. All right, non-DMCA. That's the problem. See, I have to go through all the music because I have to make sure it's non-DMCA, copyright free. Yeah. Well, there is a ton of like music that isn't like copyright free, but technically it's copyright free. You know what I mean? Because it's not like mainstream labels and stuff. I'm talking to my sister. I have her muted. Unless you want me to unmute you, Crystal. Okay. Hey, what's up? Okay, so you're unmuted.
Oh, hi everyone.
Okay, fine. I'll mute you. I'll mute you. So you consider yourself to be a utilitarian. Never heard of that one, man. Let me look that up. I'm telling you, man, they make isms out of every single word there is, don't they? But no, that's pretty cool. Let me look that up. Probably something with utilization, something with that. You can usually just tell from the Greek suffixes and prefixes and so forth. Designed to be useful or practical rather than attractive. Well, okay. Family and ethical theories prescribe actions that maximize happiness, well-being for all affected individuals. I mean, of course, I'm reading the Wikipedia, so not going to be the best source, I'm sure, but probably a general summary. The basic idea behind all, some sense to maximize utility, like I said, which is often defined in terms of well-being or related concepts. Cool. So you can probably definitely connect that a lot to you can probably connect that a lot to natural law, though I do see there's something it's saying that um, it sort of subscribes to like subjective ethics, whereas natural law is sort of to help define objective ethics, the objective morals. So it's probably different in that sense, of things. So it is what it is. Philosophy, isms. Oh, I'm so sophisticated. Got my wine. Got my yeah. I'm not about that. I'm not about consuming all the time necessarily, but just a lot of people think they're all that. They're doing it for clout. All this. Not about that life, man. So, I do it generally to learn more and see how we can make the world a better place. So I'm sure everybody has something to contribute, and that's the cool thing about it. I'm still gonna find the music, man. However long it takes me to scroll, I'm finding it. I had it. You know what? Actually, I had it on another tab, didn't I? Darn it. Man. Goodness gracious. I listen to way too much music. Yet I can't pull up one for stream. What's wrong with me? But yeah, we're actually gonna do a lot of fun things on the channel. So thank you for following. We're gonna do a lot of fun things later on in time. Not just like philosophy stuff, but like gaming too. This is a gaming platform. I know there's people who talk about like politics and stuff. But I know like why is my camera doing that? I think it's the lighting. It's my stinking webcam. What should I just make myself brighter or darker? What do I do, man? What do I do? Let me make this slightly darker because then that's probably the problem. There we go. Make it more chill. More chill. More chill. Still blinking. Whatever. As long as it doesn't annoy you guys, we're cool. What's your opinion on positive law? Yeah. So, do you think it has its place? And another thing to mention is common law. I mean, there's so many different terms. Or is natural law the only thing we need? So natural law, I mean, it's insinuating that it has a natural source, right? So it's insinuating, well, it comes from the universe, comes from what is all around us. So the difference between that and others is usually it has a bit more of a grounding or rooted basis. So is that the only thing we need? I'm sure there's a time and place for the other subjects, and it probably has a great amount of emphasis on natural law as well. But natural law within itself, yeah, it could be the only thing we need, being that it's natural. Simply put that way. But like I said, it's not to discount the other theories. It's not to say, well, that law is not like no. Typically, if I'm going to say something is something we don't need, it's well necessarily man's law. We don't necessarily need that. But by man's law, again, like what are we talking about? Are we talking about something that abides to natural law? Then it's already existent. It's redundant. Therefore, it's irrelevant and unnecessary to have the man's law. You just need to understand natural law, right? And so there's a lot of supporting aspects to this, which is why I do these episodes, because there needs to be a level of explanation among it. But generally, at the end of the day, you'll realize how simple it is once you understand it. It's like absolutely incredible, and it's powerful information. Nonetheless, when you start seeing it all just come into place, and I think with all these episodes, it's going to be like boom, 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 connection, 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 right? So I think that's cool. Oh, here we go. We'll do this. Some ambiance. Let's do Gilneas. No, you're muted. So sure. Okay, so I need to do a thumbnail with my sister. So how did I do this last time? Oh yeah, I went on Discord camera. That's true. You're right. Okay, so I could do yours now. Do. Making thumbnails, gotta make things professional. It helps. Uh, okay, that's a good idea. Could do that. Okay, wait. Just making sure to. Okay, I got it. Oh, okay. I thought you were thinking. Okay. I should film this. Okay. That's funny. No, it's cool. No, it's good. It's good either way. No, I think the other one was better. Yeah. So you're good. Yeah, you're good. See ya. All right. Let's see. Let me get off of Discord here. Let me increase the desktop audio. Get some music in the background. There we go. Might be a little loud. I'll lower that. What's with this lurk, man? Yeah, no bots in this channel. I'm sorry about that. I'm not a noob streamer, okay? I like to keep things simple. My goodness. Says the person who streams like all day. So, yeah, XYZ, did I kind of help you out? I'm sorry I get distracted with other things. I had to help her out with that real quick. My gosh, now she's spamming. I tell you. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I would suggest if you want to learn more about it, um, there's a website that I created. I made like a specific page for certain things like this. Yeah. Okay. Circo, you're here. Awesome. There you go. I made that page for talking about natural law. What is giving natural law its value in your opinion? Is it God or something else? Well, it's definitely source, right? Whether you want to call that nature, God, whatever you want to call it, it's up to you. But it's generally all around us, right? So um, I'm not like limited to saying, well, it's this God, that God. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. A lot of these religions sort of kind of give off the same message in that regards of karma and golden rule. If you look at like what's the common thing that like the most religions have in common, it's golden rule. So it's don't do unto others what you want done unto yourself. And that's a really simple way to just summarize natural law as a whole, because you're understanding consequences to your behavior, right? But now that can be taken to a greater extent into understanding, well, how do we compare natural law with man's law and so forth. So really, this is why it's such a big topic. Like you might see, it's like, whoa, this is why it's so big. And like I probably have like a billion questions. Well, that's okay. That's like the whole purpose of this show. And so I would encourage you to look at the past one, the past show if you want. Maybe start from the beginning, or just look at the link I sent you, because then you can learn more about natural law. In practice, it's quite different with most religion. Oh yeah, for sure, right? Religions have a different practice for different things, and like I said, you can get into like all the semantics, um, but like semantics will just end up in the war. Like you'll just end up in the war of words. People are just gonna be like, oh well, this is this. Oh well, according to my calculations, this is not technically like this. So like natural law is trying to find this common ground between what we can actually know with our own observations, and I think that's what makes it so cool. So now, if you're cool with that, I want to go to Circo's point, because I can't talk about 2 points at once. Sadly, I mean, I could. Should be the professional streamer, right? I should be the one who's like, let's get down to everything. Um, what about the coronavirus and the things they tell us to do? Because it's a real virus, and all of us should do the same so it can stop from spreading. Is that the same? So maybe the way you word that might be a little complicated, but there's a lot of factors there. So okay, so it's a real virus, and all of us should do the same. So like let's say there is let's say a problem in the world, and people should do the same thing. Doesn't mean you necessarily have to have a law enforced by violence to comply. It's generally a recommendation. Like if generally speaking, a lot of the mandation for mask wearing is perfectly fine by natural law, as long as it's not backed by the threat of violence if you don't. So it's still like recommendation. There's educational facts, and then people can decide for themselves what they want to do with their own health. It's at their own demise if they do not take the precautions that are required to help defeat that disease or help prevent against the disease, right? So it's at their own demise, and we can't make somebody do something. It's just immoral. You can't make somebody do something they don't want to do. Everybody has that free will consciousness. So the best we can do is educate other people and recommend. It can't be by law that we start telling people, well, this is what you should do for coronavirus, because that's when it starts to become more of a problem, and we're starting to be nature, be God, and that's where we see man's law coming into place with things. But other than that, yeah, I mean, look, if it's a real problem, then people are going to spread awareness about it, and then it's naturally going to bring awareness to people, and then more people are naturally going to create action around it, and it's naturally going to weaken over time. So the virus, I'm saying. So, but you can limit the freedom of individuals to protect the freedom of other individuals. And that is where it becomes counterintuitive, my friend. Because if you're not looking at all the different aspects of, what our consequences to behavior are, then it becomes a problem. So limiting the freedom of individuals, what good does that do us? So limiting the freedom, what do you mean by limit the freedom of other individuals? Right? Like that's what I'm trying to get at. You have to go over the specific actions. Any form of immoral action is technically a form of theft, right? So, stealing from somebody, trespass, all this stuff, rape. It's all you're stealing something that belongs righteously with somebody. It's their property. This is what we call natural rights. So like there's property, rights, and life. It's all forms of property. Hey, 1 second. Just making sure. Gotta keep in touch with the show people. Show people what I'm just here. But yeah, I mean, nothing crazy, nothing too professional, but we're just doing our bid to try to spread awareness about these general truths to the world. And I can say they're truths being that truth is what simply is. It's simply all that has existed and all that continues to exist. Something that we can know evidently by the past and present. And thus we can make our world better for the future. Like I said, these are a lot of concepts I don't expect to be grasped all at once, especially in today's world where all we think is the possibility of man's law and being God and telling people what to do and thinking that we can decide what right and wrong is. It's all what everything comes down to, because then people have this dependency on certain folks telling them everything of what to do, and then they don't know for themselves what is a right and wrong action. Thus, they're confused and they're left scrambled and in a mess. And I don't want people to be in a mess or scrambled and all confused and whatnot, like a lot of people are, and that's why they take it out on others. There's a lot of insecurities. There's a whole host of problems that come about when people are not just detached from nature, but lack the sense of reality and conscience to make their own decisions. So, arguably, not wearing a mask is endangering other individuals and thereby their right to life potentially. Okay, sure. So, I mean, look, like I said, it depends. So the state should step in and force people to wear masks. Okay, in public at least to protect the other individuals. So where are you from? I'm asking because a lot of people in the city generally think this is like the solution. A lot of people in the country generally know, this is not usually the case. Germany. Okay, and I know they get pretty strict over there. I'm in the U.S., but they definitely have a lot more problems over here, right? And you say, oh, well, it's because of this. America is screwed up in many factors, not just in one thing, okay? We have a lot of problems with our diet and food supply, with the pharmaceutical companies, the drugs, all of it. It's way more than just one thing. A lot of people just want to throw one thing and say that is the cause of everything. Not the case. So, yeah, you can say arguably not wearing masks. It's about what is objective to the situation here. So you don't want to force somebody to wear masks by threat of violence. Then you're making it immoral. But if you're recommending to other people, yeah, you probably shouldn't wear masks and this is why, then they can decide for themselves. And if they don't decide to, then don't hang out with that person. Wear a mask for yourself. Protect you. If your mask works, then it's going to protect you. You decide what to do with your body. That's the great part about this world. A lack of freedom is a lack of imagination. You don't want people to create and be expressive. You're suppressing their human ability to be themselves. And we say, oh, well, we can make an exception here, an exception here. We're literally being God by deciding the fate for individuals on this earth. It's nonsense. It literally takes away the fun in the world. We can have a lot of fun if we just let ourselves be free. But we also have to know that in a state of no rulers, or a state where we rule ourselves, there's also still rules. Okay, there's still rules we have to abide by. It's not like man-made laws that are written on paper and enforced by the threat of violence. It's not that. It's actually learning what is natural law just through different ways and means. A lot of people understand what natural law is without me even having to say natural law. So I think that is what makes it generally so special. Well, XYZ, here, that I do prefer that as well, if you like to talk on mic about everything. But and by the way, Circa, I'll go back to the other question because I saw that just now. Um, but and I agree with that. Like we should talk on mic, but I would recommend you first watch the resources I sent you. That way you understand where I'm coming from with at least my perspective and the knowledge that I've gained on the subjects. Okay, so I would just recommend first and foremost to check out what's on that page. And then get back to me from there, and then we can talk it out if you need a further definition of anything or whatnot. But that way, it saves time to just give somebody a video. This is why we make videos. It saves time. And this is also why like we record things is like one conversation with somebody goes out the window. You talk with somebody, it's gone. But when you record it, it becomes something that you can share. People can watch it while I'm sleeping. Like it's worldwide. That's the amazing part about technology. And so uh, what we can do is we'll talk about it, but I would recommend you check out the videos and stuff because people put a lot of hours and time and effort into stuff, and I think it deserves to be seen, especially if you get it in its full tapestry of understanding. Um, just talking to me about it, like we'd have to do something like this where it's a show, where we go step by step, one by one. If we're just jumping to different points, it might be harder. So so you think you know most about natural law, but if I'm saying this is the most deeply occulted knowledge, and I'm saying this is what's keeping the power system that be, let me just say, you're not going to get that in school. You're not. Um, and that's something that we're trying to fix with the One Great Work Network here. What's up? But you'll get aspects there of it in school, but you'll get it from like Thomas Aquinas and all the stuff that you usually get when you look up natural law on Google. But it doesn't mean it's the full picture of what natural law is. Lex Rex, which is natural law. So I want you to know like the expressions, the different interpretations, how it's been perceived through the generations. Like all those factors are key to be played, and that's why I sent you that link because Mark Passio is a modern day teacher who really brings everything into perspective, and I would definitely recommend that if you want to learn, especially somebody like yourself who immediately asks like, did you take a philosophy class? Well, I can tell you like to think, man. You like to learn. You like to look into this stuff. Might be a little bit left brain type of thinking, and that's okay. So, because I was more like that too. I was like in the science and health field, right? So I'm into like health and nutrition, and that means like I like to look at studies. I like to look at the evidence, right? So if you're along that way of thinking, it's good for you to do that. And if not, maybe you're into religious stuff, or whatever. I think anybody can grasp it. They just have to have a little bit of an open mind to begin with. Put their religions a little bit aside. Put their mental constraints a little bit aside. Their super analytics a little bit aside. To just take the time, watch, listen, observe, and then make the decisions. Just as I would hope they would do with anything, by the way. Any new knowledge coming into them. So, and Circo, if you're still here, which I think you are, um, so people who follow the Corona rules are sheeple too. Well, technically, by the definition of a sheep, it's anybody who follows the crowd. But no, if you're deciding for yourself, you're not technically a sheep. But just because you're following what other people are choosing, if they're following for themselves, then you can classify that as sheep. But technically, you're following your own free will. So do as you wish. If you see it as important, good for you, man. That's awesome. I just think that learning the topic is an academic environment with professional teachers is very helpful. I would say Mark Pastio is a professional teacher. I mean, this is why I'm doing this, right? Is to sort of create more of a professional environment. But Mark Pastio was teaching other teachers, so he's like a teacher of other teachers. Think of like a high level professor, basically. He has a lot of understanding of psychology. He words things pretty particularly. He makes things certain ways on his slides. Everything is very in depth usually from him, and I just think that by getting it from that source, you might really like it. Um, yeah, see, Circo says in Germany they demand you to wear a mask. You can't decide to not do it, or you get thrown out. Yeah, so it gets rough, man. It gets rough with that because you're gonna notice a lot of people who just want to be free, And sometimes you can make the justification to say it's good for the mandate, this is good for the mandate. But generally speaking, again, if it's backed by the threat of violence, then it's not something that is right to do by natural law. From my experience, philosophy courses give you a good overview with pro and cons for each position and let you decide about it. Yeah, I mean, that's what philosophy should do, right? I don't know about the hidden knowledge stuff you mentioned. It sounds a bit over the top. It sounds like it, but it still is philosophy. By hidden, I mean like it's usually not connected to with the philosophy. Like I can connect Aristotle and all these other guys to these points, and I have in my videos because I create stuff on YouTube. But I would like look. We have a whole network now, onegreatworknetwork.com, and we got the website that I mentioned to you. So if you want to just look into it, man, get back to me. I just figured, maybe I could give you that. It would just be easy for you to just look at for yourself. Saves everybody time and effort. And somebody who puts hours and hours of work into something, I have to give him credit. I just have to. He's known for that seminar, and so be it. Regardless of anything else he's done, like he's known for that information. That information by itself is powerful stuff, and I think a lot of people should look at it, give it the time to really understand it. And then, not only that, if you watch that and then you come back to the episodes that I'm doing here with my sister and other guests, you'll be like, whoa, I see the connections. I saw this for myself. Darn, this makes a lot more sense now. It's all common sense, I'm telling you. It's not like that any of this is abstract, it's like super like hidden, you can't get it. By hidden, I mean people are ignorant of it, or it's not being delivered in the right fashion, like in the holistic fashion is what I mean, right? Like when I say greater knowledge or smaller knowledge and so forth. Different perspectives you could put onto it. He keeps it very holistic because he goes over a lot of aspects that all tie in together. Something a lot of teachers can't do. They just can't do that. Connecting ideas like that. Dot connecting is very important when it comes to like understanding more about the world around us. So, yeah. So, I'm not like against wearing masks and stuff. Obviously, they work in different places and so forth. I'm just saying that, and it has like nothing to do. I don't put my personal biases onto the whole world, but that's exactly what the problem of the world is pushing our own opinions upon everybody else, saying my way or the highway. Let's just impose my way of thinking onto everybody else. It's just absurd, and that's what we're trying to prevent here by showing, hey, let's look at the universal knowledge that we all share. Like, hey, I own myself, you own yourself. Oh, wow, what an interesting conclusion. Pretty simple. But yeah, for as simple as it can be, our society seems detached from that knowledge. And I say, well, why? Right? Why are we detached from that knowledge? You can call me, like, look, you say politically you are an anarchist. But by anarchist, you mean anarchon, which means no rulers. Doesn't mean no rules. There's still rules. And a lot of these people who call themselves anarchists are these people who just want to create violence, who want to replace the current dictatorship or whatever with communism and socialism. Has nothing to do with the actual principles of what anarchon is, right? Anarchon, no ruler. So it's just funny how we do that, because if the state doesn't have force behind it, it cannot enact laws. Yeah, and by force though we mean violence. There's a difference between force and violence, just as there's a difference between self-defense and non-aggression. So it's all covered in that natural law seminar I sent you. Again, it all comes down to common sense, but he puts it into such a structure that you'll understand it, because he keeps building upon like the previous points, which we do here in this show, right? Like I did with my sister. Like I went from like teaching to requirements to knowledge to power, and as we move on, it starts making a lot more sense to us. And I expect people to just come into the chat and be like, "What is going on here?" You know. But I think anybody can come to the same conclusions given enough understanding of these topics. It's really just nature, my dude. It's not anarchy. Anarchy is freedom. Freedom is nature. It's external anarchy, external freedom, right? Because if I had an anarchy inside myself, I would not be in control of myself. There's no ruler. I'm not in control of myself. Well, I need an internal monarchy, external anarchy, to control myself, but not control others, and thus the whole world be free. It's not to be confused, because if I was confused, I had an internal anarchy, right? So I have sovereignty instead, and that is internal monarchy. Monarch means owner of kingdom, the kingdom of self. So that's what a monarch is. And I have slides for that too. I could show you all that too, but I would just suggest looking into that resource since you're looking for all the technical stuff, and like I said, you'll probably just end up asking endless questions, and you probably do want to convey this on mic. So I don't blame you whatsoever for wanting to do that. That's why I have these conversations with people, and not to mention, but I have other resources like I have Discords and stuff, Discord communities. If you check out my YouTube channel, you'll find my Discord communities. You'll find out all that. So if you look deep enough, you'll find it all, and you'll find out there's plenty of teachers who are willing to discuss this knowledge. And so, best of luck to you, and receive it as you wish. I think a lot of people can learn at least something, whether it's from the perspectives or the knowledge itself. Maybe you guys should do an FAQ with some of the basic questions answered. Yeah. Well, what we're gonna do is after teaching people this knowledge and they understand it for themselves, I'm gonna have them answer questions, and I would love if there's people chatting who can ask questions, because that will open our possibility to do so much. I mean, like, we can do so much with these streams, and a lot of the modern day like political streamers on Twitch, it's just like it's no question in their minds of them, like if human beings should be free, if they own themselves and so forth, like such simple things. And it's like they're in these complex echo chambers of leftism, right, and everything is left right, and politics. It's just like they get lost in it. I don't think it becomes philosophy anymore, I think we need to separate philosophy from politics. It's like, hey, I don't know if I'm just the only one that thinks like that, but there's a lot of talk out there, a lot of smack, a lot of people just trying to attack others for clout. Not good. Not good. So, but yeah. And I think you could see also, like, from the things that I mentioned, like I mentioned pros and cons through the course of everything, and I mentioned how I can sort of contradict myself, and I think that's just the nature of the world, and I don't have to really say I think. It's rather just the principle of polarity. There's always polar opposites, and there's also something called the principle of rhythm, principle of correspondence. They're all throughout nature. These phenomena happen, and I think a lot of people just get confused within these phenomena, not just because they don't understand it for themselves, but because they're so mixed with the modern world. Like we're a lot of what we hear and a lot of what we learn, it comes from other people, and that's just the reality of it. We're not learning for ourselves and seeking that higher wisdom that we can attain for ourselves. So, then you say, well, why watch the seminar then? Well, because it's by somebody who's going to help you learn for yourself, and that's the difference between having someone tell you what to think versus having someone help you in how you think. Teaching someone how to think. It's like, would you rather give a kid food, or would you rather teach them how to grow their own food? Well, by teaching them how to grow their own food, they can become self-sustainable in pretty much all ways. Right, it just depends on how you look at it. So it's all a perspective thing in that regards. One of the reasons why I have one video where it says, you do not need evidence, you need perspective. And I go through that. A rather bold claim, perhaps you may say. Of course, you need evidence, but you need perspective in order to see the evidence in the first place. So it's just funny. I play on words a lot because of the poetry and the poetic nature of our world. I really have no choice but to be creative with it because I just see it everywhere. Once you really just open your mind, some people think I'm on drugs. It's like I'm just opening my mind. I'm just thinking. I'm just making observations, and maybe is it the foods I eat? I don't know. I'm crazy, but you got the energy. You got the environments. I wonder how they can think that, Kappa. About what, man? I lost you. I already forgot what I said 5 seconds ago. Joking. Better long-term memory than short-term memory, but I'm still human. This is the thing, man. Oh yeah, with the drugs. Well, I mean, when you talk about like out-of-the-world concepts and stuff, I guess it's bound to happen, right? But it's not necessarily the case. There's a ton of people who think like that. Look, you get high on life. I don't know what to tell you. You get high on nature. High on the knowledge. You're like, holy cow, this is powerful. Why aren't people seeing this? It's like right in front of them. What? I don't know. Kind of weird. Ever try psychedelics? No, dude. No. Nothing like that. And I wouldn't do it either. I mean, I know that, opens your mind, blah, blah, blah. Comes from nature. It's just not my thing. I'd rather not stimulate my brain to such extents. And I mean, it's like you shouldn't even need to take that to acquire this knowledge, anyways. That's the point. It's like everybody can acquire this. You don't need to be some special person with some special gifts, special talents, special positions in the world. No, everyone can acquire it. Everyone can acquire it totally. So I don't see the need in it. It's a difference. Maybe some people want it for certain reasons, underlying reasons perhaps that need to be addressed. But do you need it? It's a question that needs to also be observed here. A lot of people fall into cycles, or what I like to say, they succumb to certain fates by following certain attractions. I mean, the viewpoint you get is completely different, can definitely help you in understanding the world. Not promoting it or anything. Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to promote it. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm encouraging you to look into it for yourself. And, like, as much as I say that, some may say, well, I want to hear it right now. What's the solution? What is it? It's like, well, what if you shouldn't be dependent on me to tell you the answer to everything? What if you have the answers too? What if and I know I don't have the answers to everything. So it's like, why am I trying to be God? Why am I trying to rule over other people? This is what I'm trying to stop, is humans that actually think they have the right and the legitimacy to rule over another's life and their property, their possessions. Something that is rightfully theirs by ownership. It's just absurd. But people think they actually do that. And you know why? It's because they don't even know what their own rights are, because they don't know right and wrong, so they don't know their own rights. Okay? That's why they lose their rights, because they don't know what right and wrong is. And all of those are aspects. All that is aspects of what natural law is made up of. That's why morality is the heart of it, because that helps you determine what is a right. So, pretty much that. So yeah, man, look into it. I appreciate it. And I might end the stream soon because I don't want to go too long with this. But I just figured, why not bring this conversation a little bit longer? Why not? Is the stream focused solely on philosophy, or is politics also a topic to talk about? I mean, we're going to get into gaming too. I mean, just to have fun. And we'll have discussions like this while we're gaming. You know what I mean? Because why not? I have a lot of people that we'll hang out with and chill, and we'll talk deep about all this stuff. Just hang out, have fun. That's what life's about. But on philosophy or politics, I mean, like I said, I think those two have to be distinguished. Like, no doubt, if you talk about philosophy, you're probably going to run into politics, and if you talk about politics, you're probably going to run into philosophy. But it's not like my intention to talk about either one. I just want to talk about the world and what is important. And sadly, what's important is that people get in control of their own life. That's it. So is that politics? Is that philosophy? Or is that simple human nature? I would say it's simple human nature. And that's why our very ability to think and our very ability to do things is being degraded. Um, but nonetheless, I love the world that we live in. I'm not talking about the man made world necessarily. I'm saying the things that we've all built up as humanity. I mean, we all did this, you know. It's knowledge is power, like I said. We've done a lot of amazing things as humanity, and it's something we shouldn't really put down on ourselves. So a lot of people want to talk about a lot of the bad things, but there's a lot of good things, and I think that is never to be ignored, ever. I think it's very bad to ignore it. So, and I should add a chat box on the screen for this part. That would be pretty cool. Let me do that real quick. I have a chat box here. Let me copy. I'll just hide it when I'm doing the show. There we go. Now it should show on the screen. For certain comments at least. The next comments, the new comments, I think. we'll see. But yeah, man. Just living life and educating others about the things that simple things. A lot of people feel like they can't educate others. They can. Because the simple things, some people just don't even know to begin with. So you can start anywhere at any time, and you shouldn't be afraid. As long as you have an open mind, you ask questions, you don't have to be telling people what to think. Again, you could help them how to think. And sorry if I sometimes talk too fast. But just how it goes. But yeah, we'll be chilling out. You guys play any games though? Play any games, man? And I won't distract you anymore. If you want to look at all the stuff I sent you, if you just want to look at the link I sent you, I won't distract you. Mostly League of Legends and StarCraft. Pretty cool. I have StarCraft 2, I think. There's StarCraft 3, right? Or no, there isn't. But StarCraft 2, I have that. I don't play it that much. It seems pretty cool. I do a lot more Warcraft 3 than StarCraft. And League of Legends, never really tried. Even though Warcraft and StarCraft are those type of RTS games. Um, yeah, I just mostly played Warcraft and World of Warcraft. And then lately I got into like PUBG with friends, and they also got me into Age of Empires, which is just as old as Warcraft. But I never really played that much when I was younger, and it's cool to kind of play it again now. So I mean, they're good games. Those old games, man. Talk about creativity and a world thriving in technology. So yeah, Age of Empires 2. That's the one I play. Yep. And we don't do the definitive edition. We do the HD edition. So it's the one that never goes on sale, but because they like it for some reason better. Probably has some of the original aspects in it. I'm assuming that the definitive sort of messes around with or has bugs with. So, but yeah, man. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate all the questions and everything. Get back to me, man, with everything. And if you find my YouTube channel and all that, you can try to join the communities that we have. I talk about a bunch of topics, a bunch of different things. So don't let it throw you off. I like to talk about everything and open the mind about everything, and sort of connect points, like I said, right? So I'm not afraid to talk about so-called taboo subjects or whatever. Um, I don't see why humans can't just talk about it, have conversations. Like I said, another thing people can't really do all the time, but we can do that here. We can do it online. It's our own domain. That's the beauty of it. So I appreciate it. Yeah, and actually, let me send you. Let me send you my link tree. A link tree is a link that has like all my other links on it. Oh, you know what? It's actually in my Twitch. It's in my Twitch bio. All that stuff is in my Twitch bio. I don't even need to send you anything. It's in my Twitch bio. You'll see there's like all my links. There's like a button for links, and it has everything in there. You'll find it easily. But yeah, there's also the Discord server. All that's in there. And you can meet other people, create conversations, all that. I appreciate it, man. It's our goal. Our goal is to reach people and help them find this knowledge. That's it. So there is hidden knowledge out there. There is knowledge that, at least certain points of understanding that, let's say, don't want to be heard for certain reasons, power wise. But we're getting out to people. And it has nothing to do with having some sort of edge and all that other stuff. Like I said, it's just like basic, abundant, inherent truths that people actually know. They just don't put into full action into their lives. So like they'll make, like I said, they'll make exceptions for like certain actions in their lives as if it is okay to do, but meanwhile it doesn't line up with the other actions in their life. So why are they doing it? You know what I mean? So they'll make special exceptions for themselves and think, well, okay, well that makes sense, but actually it doesn't. If they just sit down, they're present, take 2 seconds to think about it, and it's like, nope, that doesn't actually make much sense. And I think with this show, you're gonna see that a lot. So um, I already seen it with many conversations I've had with people. It's like epiphanies, you know. It's like the aha moments. It's like, what? Wait, I knew that. Easy. But yeah, man, thank you for hanging out. I'm gonna close the stream. So peace out. I'm gonna go. Anyone else? Anything else? Have a good one. Yeah, thank you. Take care. Peace out. If you want to check out my sister's channel, completely up to you. You know, she likes to speak her mind too. We're just human. And like to have fun in the process. We're gonna do a lot of cool things here. You can actually see I have like a goal. I have a goal on here. Speech in public. If you know, I don't know, fun things like that. Speech in public, talk to public strangers, do quizzes or whatever. Who knows? But yeah, thank you guys. Take care. I appreciate it. I don't mind taking an extra hour or whatever to talk with you guys, and maybe we'll get more people in this conversation. I think it would be really cool. Open up more ideas. Definitely, we'll have more guests on the show. So, thank you. Peace out. Keep playing that. My fancy little outro screens. Peace.